Today's episode is sponsored by Midwest Fire. For more than 20 years, Midwest Fire has been manufacturing high-quality tankers, tanker pumpers, and fire rescue vehicles in the United States and Canada. Keeping firefighters safe while enhancing their capabilities is what they do best. To learn more, go to MidwestFire.com.
Hi, this is Adam Farrar with the Wildfire Fire Department, and you're listening to Dr. Richard Gasaway on SA Matters Radio. The SA Matters mission is simple. They want you to see the bad things coming in time to avoid the bad outcomes.
Hello and welcome to episode 108 of the Situational Awareness Matters radio show. I'm your host, Rich Gasaway. The purpose of this show is to improve situational awareness and decision-making for individuals and teams who work in high-risk, high-consequence environments. The SA Matters mission is simple, to help you see the bad things coming and time to avoid bad outcomes. I'm coming to you today from Birmingham, Alabama. I am traversing the entire state of Alabama on this SA Matters tour, delivering 4 situational awareness programs in Gulf Shores, Trussville, and Decatur. Thank you to Alan Rice, the director of the Alabama Fire College, for your efforts to bring this valuable message to the members of the Alabama Fire Service. In today's feature segment, I explore how situational awareness may be impacted when the first arriving officer establishes a working command and then proceeds to perform hands-on firefighting activities. Hey, if you missed episode 101, you're going to want to go back and give it a listen. I interviewed 4 firefighters from the Sioux Falls, South Dakota Fire Department who survived a near miss when their aerial apparatus came in contact with a 32 kV electric transmission line. This was really a close call, and there were lots of lessons to be learned from it. So circle back and give episode 101 a listen. Before I jump into today's feature segment, I'd like to take a moment to thank the departments and organizations that have hosted our recent Situational Awareness Matters tour stop events. Your efforts to bring this valuable and powerful training on situational awareness and high-risk, high-consequence decision-making to your members and others in your region are greatly appreciated. Lebanon Fire District in Oregon, the Douglas County Fire District Number 2 in Oregon, the Bend Fire Department in Oregon, and of course where I am now in Alabama, delivering programs in Gulf Shores, Trussville, and Decatur. If you're interested in joining me for an upcoming Situational Awareness Matters tour stop, on May 31 and June 1, I'll be at the Alberta Fire Chiefs Association Conference in Calgary. June 3rd, the Pima Interagency Training Committee is hosting me for a fundraiser for the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation in Tucson. We're going to have the program on June 3rd, and then a golf outing on Saturday, June 4th, and then they're going to hold me over for an encore program on Monday, June 6th, also in Tucson. On June 9th, I'll be doing a program for the Spokane Fire Department in Washington. June 10th, 3 programs for the Montana Fire Alliance Conference. June 16th, the Brighton Area Fire District in Michigan. June 17th, the Eastern Michigan University is hosting their School of Police and Fire Staff and Command Executive Leadership program, and I'll be delivering a full day there. June 22nd for the Texas Intrastate Mutual Aid Association. June 24 and 25, the Cy-Fair Fire Department in Texas. Then I'm going to take a few days off and enjoy a little time with my family. Back on the road on July 6th for the Iowa Fire Training Bureau in Ames, Iowa. July 7th, the Overland Park Fire Department, Overland Park, Kansas. And July 8th for the Shawnee Fire Department in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Then I'm going to take a little bit more time off for my annual Boundary Waters Wilderness Canoe Trip. This is the highlight of my summer. It's kind of like Gilligan's Island. No phone, no lights, no motor cars, not a single luxury. I absolutely love it. Thanks so much to all of our program hosts. And here's hoping there'll be a tour stop near you and we'll get a chance to meet up. While delivering programs in southwest Minnesota earlier this year, I had the opportunity to stop by and visit my sponsor, Midwest Fire. They build some pretty amazing fire apparatus, I'll tell you. All poly design. You got to check them out. Anyhow, while I was there, I got a chance to sit down and talk to a few of their employees about what separates Midwest Fire from their competitors. I got a chance to talk with account executive Dalton Lingbeck about the types of apparatus that they build. Let's listen in for a minute and hear what he had to say. Okay, Dalton, tankers and tanker pumpers. That seems to be the game for Midwest Fire. I see, even as I'm here at the factory, I see a number of tankers and tanker pumpers. But do you build anything else? Are you basically just a two-product company, or do you have other types of trucks that you're building for customers?
We do in fact build a lot of tankers and tanker pumpers. They are our bread and butter. We love building them, and they're a great product for us. But in fact, we do not only build tankers and tanker pumpers. We try and fill the whole department. So if anyone needs to replace their fleet, we can do it. We do a lot of roll pumpers. We're starting to do more and more of those. We don't really trend towards more of the major metropolitan cities with pumpers. We leave that up to the guys that have been doing it for a long time. We take care of our customer base, which are volunteer firefighters, rural firefighters, and we provide them with the rural pumpers. We also do quick attacks. We do a lot of rescue quick attacks, mini pumpers, not necessarily the PTO mini pumpers, but we do portable pumps on these things. So essentially, it's a lot of rescue tools. It's on an F550. It's got a rescue-style body, but we call them quick attacks. And then finally, we do brush trucks. And brush trucks we love doing these because these things are one of the coolest trucks and coolest firefighting pieces of equipment on the face of this earth. We've been doing a lot of those. We've started doing brush trucks around 2.5 years ago, and we have been building roughly 10 to 15 a year, and we're increasing that by the day. It's a really cool thing, and you'll be seeing a lot more Midwest Fire brush trucks in the future.
So if somebody wanted to see what these trucks look like, are there pictures on the website or a gallery, or is there someplace they can go to put their eyeballs on what we're talking about here?
Yeah, definitely. We have many areas where you can see the pictures. We have a Twitter account. We do a lot of delivery pictures and just pictures in general on our Facebook. That's a huge place for people to go see us. But the biggest part is our website. We do have a deliveries tab, and you can see all recent deliveries on our website from the day they were delivered all the way back to how many ever years ago.
Yeah, nice. So if you want to learn more about the types of apparatus that Midwest Fire is building, tankers, tanker pumpers, quick attack pumpers, brush trucks, rural apparatus, visit them at MidwestFire.com and see how they can help you. Thank you, Sarah Atchison and the staff at Midwest Fire, for your awesome commitment to improving first responder safety. I sincerely appreciate your support of my mission. Hey, if you're interested in attending an upcoming Situational Awareness Matters tour stop, head over to the samatters.com website and click on the blue box on the right side of the homepage labeled Upcoming Event Schedule. More than 500 agencies on 4 continents have hosted a Situational Awareness Matters tour stop event. Has your agency? No? Seriously? Come on. What are you waiting for? A casualty event? Trust me, you don't want that. I know. I get to visit many departments who've suffered years after losing a member. Be proactive and get your program scheduled. If you're interested in hosting a Situational Awareness Matters tour stop in 2016 for your department or association, just contact me through the samatters.com website. Click on the Contact Us tab. We'll get something set up for you. I should note that I'm actively booking 2017 programs now, so if you're also looking like way out there in the future, like 2017, now's the time to secure your date. Here's a tip for how you can host a program at a reduced cost. I schedule many what I call companion programs. These are programs on adjoining days to other programs. So if you see I'm delivering a program within a couple hours of your department and you think you might want to tag along as a companion, contact me. You can save as much as 20% off the program cost by being a companion to an existing program. I want to share some feedback I got from a couple recent programs. I don't share this feedback to brag. Rather, I do it to show appreciation to those who inspire me and my message by taking time to send me some encouragement. If you want to send me feedback, I'd love to hear from you. Just click on the SAMatters.com site and click on the Contact Us link. This first piece of feedback comes from Chief Jim Golden from the East Dover Fire Company in Toms River, New Jersey. Rich, I like the touch that you added to the video to this month's newsletter. Also, your podcasts have been really educational. The one with the lieutenant who survived the flashover was remarkable. It's good to hear that firefighters are changing the way they're training, and all of that is due to your hard work and your message. I still listen every week to your podcasts and read your blogs regularly. I look forward to someday taking one of your leadership classes as well. I'm a big fan of your style of education and teaching. Well, thank you, Jim. I really appreciate that. The second piece of feedback comes from Lamar Ray, the technical support analyst for information systems for the City of Decatur Fire Department. It says, it was an honor for us to have you come and speak to us on a topic that is so often overlooked and yet so vital to scene safety. Isn't it funny how situational awareness is such a key resource for soldiers, but has been so overlooked by fire and EMS? The material you presented was very informative, very well organized, and paced to keep the audience attention. A lot of instruction that we get in the fire service is read verbatim from a textbook, but I never even saw you glance at your notes once. Well done, sir. Well, thank you, Lamar, for that feedback. I really, really do appreciate hearing from you. And then the final one comes from Stephen Sanders from the Trustville Fire Department. Chief Gasaway, I can speak for the guys at Trustville Fire as well as myself when I say we enjoyed your presentation very much. It has been the topic of discussion at the station ever since. Even more importantly, it made us think more about what is going on around us and also brought our minds together so that we can discuss better ways to be aware and ensure everyone goes home. I didn't share my near-miss story because at the time I was a rookie, but it absolutely scared the crap out of me. And he goes on to talk about a near-miss event that he had that I told him that I wouldn't share on the air. I look forward to reading all three of your books and to learn as much as possible. The presentation was extremely informative and helpful. I'm going to do a class from my smaller fire department that I work on and be able to share the knowledge with them as well. Even my family has heard all about the ways that the brain works, ways to be more careful during everyday tasks, and things to look for and to keep the mind focused. Again, I really appreciate everything and hope to hear you speak again soon. Thanks again, and thank you, Stephen Sanders from the Trustville Fire Department, for sharing that feedback. If you want to send me some feedback, go to the SAMatters.com website. Click on the Contact Us link, and your feedback may be featured on an upcoming episode of SA Matters Radio or might be shared in my monthly newsletter. Okay, it's time to jump into our feature segment discussing how situational awareness can be impacted from working command. I get asked a lot of questions about what the first arriving company officer should do at a working structure fire. Specifically, the debate revolves around two basic premises. Should the first arriving company officer assume a fixed command position outside the structure and coordinate activities of incoming units? Or should the first arriving company officer assume a working command, or sometimes called mobile command, position and engage in the firefight with their crew? The short answer is, it depends. Let's explore this issue from the perspective of situational awareness. The company officer role. Essentially, the role of the company officer is to be the frontline supervisor for their company. Sometimes the officer is the most experienced member of the crew. Sometimes they're not. The company officer's primary role is to ensure the safety of their crew and to facilitate the coordination of the crew's activity as part of the overall incident strategy. Establishing command. It is vitally important to have someone designated as the person in charge at every incident. Preferably, this would be explicitly announced so that all responders know who's running the show. Even if an incident is minor, it's a good practice to establish and announce who's in command. Some responders criticize the practice of establishing command at smaller incidents, calling it overkill or unnecessary. I'm not advocating a formal command structure is necessary at small incidents. I will, however, advocate for practicing the act of establishing command at all incidents as a means to develop habits that will pay off when you're under stress and you have to perform those duties. We are creatures of habit, and there is no environment where you will behave more in the ways consistent with your habits than when you are under stress. Practice becomes the automatic, scripted performance under stress. If you develop the habit of establishing command, while it is more than simply making a radio announcement, that can become a valuable habit when things become complex. Working command. The heart of the issue to be discussed in this podcast is what the first arriving officer should do physically after establishing command at a working fire. There are essentially two options. Operate as working command, or sometimes called mobile command, or assume a fixed command position outside the structure to coordinate the emergency until someone else arrives. There are several good arguments why a company officer might want to establish a mobile command. These include the crew is understaffed and the company officer needs to be part of the crew to get the task done. The crew is underexperienced and the company officer needs to be part of the crew to ensure that the inexperienced responders will remain safe. The company officer is undertrained and or underexperienced to act as the commander and therefore assumes the role of the company officer on the interior because that is where he or she is most comfortable. The company officer feels an obligation to be part of the crew and to help with the crew's workload. The company officer may feel guilty if he or she is not participating in the hands-on work that needs to be done. Further, the company officer may fear being subjected to ridicule by fellow company members for not helping with the workload. The company officer feels the best thing to do is to join up with the crew, make an aggressive attack on the fire, or an aggressive search for the victims. The belief might be there's no time to waste, and expedience of task completion is the primary focus and reason for being part of the company. And finally, the next arriving officer will be arriving very soon and can assume the fixed command position. There may be a few more, but this kind of puts in a good frame around why the company officer might make the decision to be in a mobile command decision mindset. The working command challenge. I cannot dispute any of the arguments for why a company officer would assume a working command or mobile command position at an incident. And it's certainly not for me to judge this decision, especially when there are many dynamic factors that can influence the decision. However, I can offer some perspective on the situational awareness challenges created by working or mobile command. The premise is a simple one. In order to be effective at performing the duties of command, the person in that role must meet essentially three criteria. First, be trained on how to perform the duties of command, and It would be nice to have a little experience to go along with that training as well. 2, be hands-off, not performing manual tasks while performing the cognitive demanding task of command. 3, be in a position to see the big picture. In other words, physically located back far enough from the incident scene to be able to see the critical clues and cues. The situational awareness tie-in. To make this point salient, I want to refresh you on the 3 levels of situational awareness and then briefly refresh you on the 3 types of situational awarenesses that we develop and maintain at emergency scenes. Situational awareness is defined as your ability to perceive the clues and cues in your environment and then to comprehend the meaning of those clues and cues in the context of how time is passing, and then being able to make accurate predictions of future events. Formally, there's a 3-step model for this process known as perception, understanding, and prediction. If you're a fan of the OODA loop is a decision-making model that came out of the military. Situational awareness is formed in the observation and orient part of the OODA loop. Now, the OODA stands for observe, orient, decide, and act. And I've written previously on the challenges of the OODA loop, and that the OODA loop does not give consideration for predicting future events prior to action. And I would make a strong argument that the OODA loop should be observe, orient, decide, predict outcomes, and then act. But that's a conversation for another day. As you perceive, understand, and predict, you are actually you're doing this through 3 different types of situational awarenesses: personal awareness, company awareness, and incident scene-wide awareness. Some of the clues and cues captured and processed to form each type of situational awareness is the same at all 3 levels. Others are not. It is the goal for all responders to develop and maintain all 3 types of awarenesses, regardless of your position on the emergency scene. Incident situational awareness is the most challenging because it requires forming and maintaining an understanding of a dynamically changing, stimulus-rich environment. In the command position, there's lots of things to make sense out of. Lots of verbal information and lots of audible information. To form incident-wide situational awareness, a commander must physically be in a position to see and comprehend the dynamically changing visual information and to be able to hear and comprehend the audible information. This takes a lot of cognitive horsepower. It's important to understand that when a company officer chooses to be hands-on, it will impact their incident-wide situational awareness. The company officer may be in a great position to ensure the safety of his or her crew and to help with the heavy physical workload, but mobile commanders are not in the physical position to see, hear, and understand the dynamically changing incident conditions. Who's flying the plane? When command is a working command, it means that the commander is hands-on, engaging in physical activities. It also means that no one is commanding the incident. No one is flying the plane, at least from the big picture point of view. It would be very unnerving if the next time you were on a plane, the pilot announced that they were going to put the plane on autopilot, leave the flight deck, and come back and serve you some drinks and snacks. This seemingly ridiculous analogy would never happen when flying a plane. The plane would never be left to fly itself alone on autopilot. A fireground where the incident commander is mobile or working is in the same predicament as when the commander is hands-on. The commander isn't flying the plane. For whatever reason they choose to apply, they're not commanding the big picture incident. They're hands-on and they're not able to see the big picture. And when this happens, overall, incident situational awareness will suffer. It's important to review your standards to ensure it addresses the roles and responsibilities of the first arriving officer and under what conditions they should assume a fixed command position or operate as a working command. If there is an expectation that company officers serve in fixed command positions, it's imperative that they be taught how to command, at least the initial minutes of an incident until they would be relieved. I once observed a captain trying to command a large, complex incident until he was relieved. He stood there and didn't say or do anything. He was numb, and he was overwhelmed. I offered to assist him, and he simply gave me a blank stare. It was obvious he was suffering from overload and didn't know how to command the initial moments of the call. Fortunately, the relief arrived quickly, and the captain was sent off to do company-level assignments. When company officers assume working command positions and engage in the firefight, it is vitally important that they, and everyone else responding to the incident, understand the plane is flying without a pilot for a period of time. If that period of time is going to be relatively short, then the amount of risk may be fairly limited. The next-in officer then should conduct a quick and thorough size-up independent of the first officer's assessment to ensure it still makes sense for the first-in company to be on the interior. This involves determining the speed at which the incident conditions are changing and to make some calculations about whether the interior crews can outmaneuver the fire and overwhelm it. If the second-in officer is not comfortable being the commander, there's always the possibility that he or she will also engage in hands-on activities, leaving the incident without a commander for even a longer period of time. If the practice is to have all companies engage and the first arriving chief assumes the command, then everyone must realize the plane flies without a pilot until the chief officer arrives. The risk associated with this and the potential situational awareness consequences from this should not be taken lightly. I have video recorded a couple episodes of the SA Matters radio show, and they're available on the SA Matters TV YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and type SA Matters TV. I have about 50 videos there of various things, and you can watch as I record some of the interviews. Granted, they're not going to be anything thrilling, watching me sitting in a chair with a headset on and a microphone, but if you'd rather watch or see behind the scenes what's going on as a podcast episode is being recorded, you can do that on SA Matters TV on YouTube. If you have someone in mind that you'd like to see as a guest on this show, just contact me through the SA Matters website Contact Us link. If you've experienced or witnessed a near miss and would like to have a platform to share your lessons learned with others, please contact me by visiting the SAMatters.com site. Click on the Contact Us link on the top of the homepage, and we'll get something set up for you. Think about it for a moment. The lessons learned from your near-miss event could save the life of another first responder. If you want to share your experiences, reach out to me. If you haven't subscribed yet to the SA Matters radio podcast, please consider taking a moment to go over to iTunes or Stitcher Radio. And while you're there, also please consider leaving some feedback about the show. If you like the show, give it a 5-star review. This really is important. Not only does it help others to find the show, but it also gives me a lot of inspiration. A lot of time and effort goes into producing, recording, and editing a show and lining up guests when we have our guests. Your feedback would really go a long way to give me that encouragement. In case you didn't know, I've written 3 books on situational awareness. These books, Situational Awareness Matters, Volumes 1, 2, and 3, contain critical lessons for improving your situational awareness and your high-risk decision-making. If you want a copy of any of those books, you can get them on the SAMatters.com website. Click on the store link or through Amazon.com. I recently added a donate button on the bottom of the SA Matters homepage. If you're interested in supporting this mission, you could consider making a one-time donation or a recurring donation. All proceeds are invested back in the content creation and research on topics related to situational awareness and high-risk decision-making. And thank you in advance for your support. I really appreciate it. If you're not a member yet of the SA Matters community of learners, please consider joining. There are more than 5,000 members connected here on SA Matters, sharing ideas about how to improve situational awareness, how to make better decisions under stress, and how to train members to be critical thinkers and resilient problem solvers. Membership is free. It's free. And when you sign up, I'll send you a special report created just for you, the new members, called 25 Best Practices for Improving First Responder Safety. If you're not a member yet, head over to the SAMatters.com website, click on the red box on the right side of the homepage. It says free membership. If you want to get connected on social media, you can follow at Rich Gasaway or at SA Matters on Twitter. The SA Matters Twitter community is approaching 17,000 followers of our mission. Thanks to all who's come along for the ride on Twitter. You can also get connected with me on Facebook by joining our private Facebook page. It's free. Facebook.com/groups/SA Matters. There's an enticement in there, 50% off on my newest book. That'll save you $20 if you join the private Facebook group. On LinkedIn, you can also find me by searching Rich Gasaway on LinkedIn. Well, that's it. Episode 108 is complete. Thank you to our sponsor, Midwest Fire. And thank you to all of our live event hosts. And thank you, our listener, for sharing some of your valuable time with me today. I really appreciate your support of the SA Matters mission. Be safe out there, and may the peace of the Lord and strong situational awareness be with you always.
You've been listening to the Situational Awareness Matters radio show with Dr. Richard B. Gasaway. If you are interested in learning more about situational awareness, human factors, and decision-making under stress, visit SAMatters.com. If you are interested in booking Dr. Gasaway for an upcoming event, visit his personal website at richgasaway.com.